this particular aspect of yours, the sloth and torpor, which is the biggest problem in the world today. Okay, all the motivation speakers and all the inspiring talkers out there are doing one thing to you. They're trying to wake you up. Move. You people, you're still, you're not, you're dead, get up, do something. Okay, what we are doing is the same, but without saying a single word, with only practice. Because the mind and the body, they both, they are, if they get into action, no one can stop you from becoming successful. It's the mind and body, both together have to become successful. So, namaste, good morning. It's 5 p.m. on a Tuesday, and we are here gathered for our series of talk on the 5 obstacles that become an hindrance in a practice of Shunya. We've covered 2 of them, okay, and so we're going to take the most important one today, that is sloth and torpor. These are the 2 words that I understood after I started to practice Shunya. Before that, I thought they were just a part of, not part of my life, maybe a part of dictionary, but nothing to do with me. And but now I understand the meaning of those 2 words, and it makes a lot of sense to know that, because that's where your act begins, when you know that. So, just a recap, the 5 obstacles, the hindrances that we are covering are basically the obstacles that become a hurdle for us when we practice Shunya. And if you look at them closely, we covered the sensory desire last time when we did, okay? And then we covered ill will. And today we are here on the most right-hand corner, the guy who's, I think so, people think he's bowing his head in real love for the divine, but he's already gone to his own heaven. Okay, so we are going to see what drives us there, and how can we remain where we want to remain, not go anywhere else. Okay, so just a quick recap, the 5 obstacles for practicing Shunya and how to overcome them. That is what we are covering. So just again, to revise, our mind is exactly like clear water, transparent, and it can allow you to see through yourself. It can help you to see through many things. As many things it engages with, the clearer the mind, the more clear is your vision to see through. And however, that's not the case with the mind. The mind is not, even though its nature is to be transparent, it doesn't happen to remain in that state because of many reasons. Okay, so what are the reasons? Why can't the mind and, like the water, have that particular state continuously? You see, water also doesn't have that state continuously. It's always going through some state of change. And here we see the 5 hindrances. The first one was sensual desire, which we did in the previous episode. Then we did ill will, and today we are going with the third one, that is sloth and torpor. Then we will cover restlessness and worry and skeptical doubt. When we talked about the sensual desire, we saw how the water, that's the mind, is mixed with all different colors, the pleasures of your senses. And because your senses are in a state of complete pleasure, they don't let the mind see things through clearly. Okay, and because of which you're not able to see things or even sense things in the right way. Because you're listening to loud music, your ears are so conditioned to listening to loud music, you cannot hear the whisper of somebody, because you're programmed to listen to the loud music. Similarly, because you're used to seeing certain things, you miss out on the other things. And this is exactly with all your sensory feelings, okay? And same is with your feeling also. too much of love to something, an attachment to you, to your child, you cannot see that how you're spoiling your child, because maybe that love, that feeling has gone beyond you even seeing what is good for your child. So they say uh, love is blind. Actually, love makes somebody blind. Not little love, but too much love. So how much you should do, we did that. And people who have not seen that, please go and see that episode. It's an important episode, and that's what Buddha explained with a very beautiful example, like water with beautiful colors in it. But what is the point of beautiful colors in the water? It still does not allow you to see what is on the inside of it. Okay, what lies beneath that. So very, very important. Then we did the ill will, which we did last time, and was very important because here kind of feelings of hostility, resentment, hatred, bitterness, anger, frustration, these are like boiling water. So Buddha explained this like the bubbling of water. Even though there is nothing, but the kind of bubbles that the water creates, it takes away the transparency of the water. And we see the person is normal, but yet because he's angry, because he's having jealousy, because he's envious of somebody, he is not able to see through that relationship. He's not able to see clearly, and he starts seeing everything very, very differently. And we tell him, why don't you understand, this is so simple. But the person doesn't understand because his mind is bubbling with all those feelings. So feelings also should be watched. Very, very important. Then we go for today's topic, that is sloth and torpor. Okay, I'm sure many would have heard this for the first time as I did. These are two English words, but very, very important words now in Sunya practice. Basically, it means half-hearted action with little or no effort or concentration, because we are doing dhyana. And dhyana means to concentrate on certain things, to focus on something. But there has to be you that is engaging yourself in this action. If you are going to do it half-heartedly, you're not going to be able to concentrate. Your effort is what is required. Meditation is not putting in no effort. It is putting in effort so that your tendency of your mind of not doing something, or not going into effort, or not doing it wholesomely, is actually what we are trying to change. We are trying to let the mind be able to focus, concentrate, do something wholesomely, not in parts, not in bits, not in pieces, not at the comfort of you. But the reason you engage with something is because you want to accomplish that thing that you went on for, not leave it half-heartedly. Many people face this particular problem, that they don't realize that they start something but they never finish it. And the reason being is because of this sloth and torpor. It's again an obstacle in the practice of shunya. Now here, beautifully explained again by Buddha, is like a water clogged with weeds or algae, and it's the whole nature of the water has changed. Suddenly this piece of water body is of no use. It does forget seeing through. It is having its own color. It's having its own look and feel. It's an illusion itself. It doesn't seem there is water out there. So similarly, everything is lost. And this is a very, very bad state. Many people, they don't realize that when they go into this state, they remain in that state because that's the state of the mind that is not active. And many people, they believe that getting the mind still means getting the water still. And you get the water still and doing nothing, you will become like that puddle. All the algae, everything start growing in. That is why Shunya is totally different. We say when you practice in your room, when you practice in a setting, when you practice Shunya, that is called BSV, Basic Samatha Vipassana. But after that, we tell you to go and do your duty, engage with your, the world around. That is MSV, Mahasamatha Vipassana. There you will be tested. Here you will be trained. In basic, you get training. There you have to give your test. The world will judge you whether you have really been trained well or not. You talk about self-control. You talk about your ability to stay calm. Go and let us check in the world whether they agree to what you're thinking, or is it just a fantasy that you're carrying. So in Shunya, it is very important to understand that among the five hindrances, the one, sloth and torpor, is very, very common. You can see that in many people, because if you look at people, they sometimes take meditation as a means for escape, from busy life. They feel the life is so busy, so hectic, they are so stressed, they are so strained. They say, I think it's time for me to take a break. Let me go for meditation. And they go for meditation, they relax there, and they feel, oh, this is good, this is nice. But that is not meditation, that is relaxation. There is a difference between meditation and relaxation. Meditation is an effort act, an act full of effort. And for that, you have to understand, if you don't want your mind to remain like this mushy water filled with all the things, so that its basic nature, the ability of the mind to achieve something, to gain something that it is going out for, and to see things clearly. If you don't want your mind to be something like that you see in the background, then you need to act. That's it. Action is the only way. Like the water moves, and along with its movement, it transforms many lives, but it also maintains for its state the state of transparency, the state that it is supposed to be, not by clogging or locking itself in some situation. You see, this is a very common state when you look at people who suffer from mental illnesses. Suddenly something happens and they go into a kind of a shell. They don't want to do anything. They want to be locked up inside. So sloth and torpor, Buddha also explained, it is like a person locked up in a prison with no light, nothing, just sitting with himself. Okay, doesn't want to interact with the world. Sloth and torpor is like that, a self-imprisonment of doing nothing. That is not what we call a meditation. This is definitely not right. So, how do you know that sloth and torpor are among us, inside us, and it is affecting us? When you sit for doing shunya, when you realize that you're doing shunya, you realize you've been told to sit straight. Okay, when you're told to be sitting straight like this, you suddenly realize your body is now not able to sit straight, so you start bending forward like this. This is because your body cannot do that. So it automatically goes into this particular thing. It is what we call sloth. Okay, sloth is basically physical laziness. The body does not want to stay still, because this needs effort. Okay, to keep your spine straight, it needs effort. But we in Shunya give you a trick. We say, hey, if you cannot sit in your full lotus, put in the zafu. Key in the zafu as a fulcrum, beneath your coccyx, so that now, even if you want to bend, it cannot, because it is already locked up. Engineering genius, some time back, I think so, whoever came up with this amazing smartness, just slot in. Now you support a weak body for some time. After it gets conditioned over a period of time, it knows how to stay still. Okay, so we make sure even your body remains still, so you cannot droop. And many a times you'll see first time practitioners, they will always go like this, because that's what it is. Some with effort do this. This is also relaxation, because this and this both are relaxation. This definitely is relaxation, but in meditation people don't do this, but they definitely do this and this. And you have to understand that both are actually being now suffering from a disease called torpor. They have or sloth, it has already come into their body. The physical and the mental laziness has come in. Okay, people have a doubt. No, sir, it is because I'm being very tired today. Okay, if you're tired today, maybe you do it once. Every time you sit, every time you do this, definitely it's not tiredness. To test your tiredness, sleep well. That is why we say in retreats, what do we say? Sleep full 8 hours, 9 hours. Then you come. After 9 hours of sleep, you still want to sleep here 2 minutes, 5 minutes, even 9 to 0 count. People want to take that 9 to 0, 5 minutes also snap. That is not sleep. That is not tiredness. That is not fatigue. That is definitely sloth and torpor, which is coming in. If you sense somebody like that, the first thing first, we have to now wake him up. So this is not something that is coming now. It was definitely thousands of years back also. People were like this, and even today we are like this. And we found our own ways in which how to manage this. Okay. So if you look at it, okay, yawning, okay, these are all states of the mind. You're not sleepy, but when you suddenly get bored in some conversation, somebody is telling you and you are not interested, and you realize this is really boring, your mind wants to go there. Suddenly that suddenly that yawning comes in. It comes in because your mind doesn't want to be there. He's saying, "Go, come on, let get out from here." That is a natural tendency because the interest is gone. It's nothing interesting. The senses are saying, "Hey, let's run away from here. This guy is really boring. We are not getting anything from us." And that is why when we do Sunya, okay, first 9 to 0, super excited. People do 9. Then we do them 99 to 0. That is very exciting, the red belt. As soon as we put them into the orange belt, okay, double count, super excited again. As soon as they go into the yellow belt, first they are excited. Then they realize how boring that is. The same thing doing for 20 minutes, just doing the count again and again. Very boring. Only observing, no counting, nothing. The mind, then you can test them. They will start sleepy. All the sloth and torpor comes in. Okay, so very, very important to know and find out what is affecting us. So these, when you will start teaching, you'll find these two states. You'll see them. Very, very easy to find them. Okay. Even if they want to hide, they cannot hide. Can they? No ways. And I can tell you honestly that there are people who accept, sir, I feel very sleepy. Okay, but I felt very good, relaxed, as if it's a favor they are doing on me. Who doesn't feel good after sleeping? Who doesn't feel good after relaxing? Everybody feels good. We are not here to feel good. We are asking, were you able to finish your count? Were you able to do your focus? Were you able to keep your concentration? That was what you were expecting, not your feeling. We never said you'll feel good after this, you'll feel happy after this, you'll feel enjoyable after this. We never said that. We said you will be able to concentrate, you will be able to focus. That is what we are looking at. So very, very important. So now what techniques you would do, if somebody is really in this state and he's saying, so either you go and wake him up, yes or no? You wake him up, or what can you do? You will do is tang, 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 ring bells, right? Now you understand when you go in Indian temples, one person is sitting for meditation, okay? Maybe he's meditating, maybe he's sleeping, who knows? But suddenly the bell rings. He gets up, okay? And our masters were great. They put not one bell, they put many bells. Let everybody come, ting tong, ting tong, ting tong. So if luckily somebody is really meditating there, he will be very grateful and thankful for keeping him awake, With every bell ringing, he knows that I am still awake. Okay. And one who is sleepy, anyways, for him, it doesn't make any difference. Right? So all the ringing bells, you should understand there was a reason behind it. Okay. So this reason is to keep ourselves awake. But when you overdo that, it becomes a ritual. Okay. So understand the reason behind all that. Okay. Then people choose sometimes that meditation is listening to music, calming yourself down. Then they say, you Shunya, you have nothing? No, I like to listen to music, nice, soft, some music, and then I meditate. You're not meditating, you're listening to music. They are two different things. You are relaxing with the music. You're enjoying the music. It cannot be meditation. You understand? That is where you feel, no, but I feel good. I can practice well there. Of course, because the music is going to keep you awake. Because you're engaged with it, you are attached with it. Now I take away music and you tell this person to sit and listen. He cannot. He will sleep again. Torpor and sloth will come again. So definitely that is not the way, we suggest that that's not the way in which you can practice. So that is why in Shunya we have no music, no ringing of bell. Okay, so you understand why we don't have anything. So with that you are able to do. Now you understand dancing. Why people dance? Meditators, they have this break, and when they dance and enjoy. Why do they enjoy? Because if you are having the condition where you are feeling drowsy, sleepy, what will the master say? Hey, what are you doing? Why are you sleeping? Get up, move here, dance. Come on, dance and move around. Move, shake your body. Come on, get up, get up, get up, get up. Right or wrong? Your class teacher is teaching a subject and all the children are like, then what the teacher says, hey, come on, forget the subject. Let's do one thing. Okay, let's play a game, okay? That doesn't mean she's left the subject. She's just trying to wake you up so that you get back to the subject that she wants you to come to, right? It is that sense. So all the dancing and all this thing was meant for those who suffer from that particular condition. No, so we are not against that, as I said, but there is a reason for it. And for us, we believe that we have a very good reason to stay awake. That is to reverse count. I think that's a good way, rather than dancing and doing this. Reverse count is the best way to know whether I am still awake or not. Okay, then you go up. When you cannot do it alone, then you bring everybody, sing along. Then definitely you cannot sleep because somebody's voice, your neighbor is horribly singing. Okay, the name of the God, and you realize, my goodness, I can never sleep like this. You will think, thank God, finish this fast, I want to go home. All that, the chanting and the singing and dancing and all those things is just to keep you awake. Okay, and that is very, very important. So this was meant for people who suffer from sloth and torpor, and it is very common to find people who suffer from these two conditions. And these two conditions you can also find in people who suffer from this. They also have a problem in their life. Also, they are not able to do anything. The movement doesn't happen. You have to whack them, then they move. You have to whack them, they move. They are dependent on something. They will always need something to work. Like they're working in a IT company, they work for 3 hours, then after 3 hours they need a break. They want to smoke, they want to have something, they want a change. They want a program change. Otherwise they cannot. After the whole day's work, they want to have a little drink to relax. Only then they can work. Every Saturday, Sunday, they want to go out for a vacation somewhere to take a break, relax, because job becomes a stress for them. It doesn't become something that is relaxing them. They want to run away from that. And you can imagine the stuff that is feeding you, giving you all that you need. You don't like it. And you want to run away from that for 2 days and 1 day and have that. What do you think that job is going to give you? In future, you see, it will give you nothing, or it will only give you stress and strain. But do the other way around. You enjoy that 5 days, 2 days, whatever you want to do, but that 5 days, if you enjoy your work, that work becomes your meditation, that work becomes your engagement. You can transform your life, and you might not need those 2 days to go anywhere. Maybe those 2 days are to upgrade yourself so that you can enjoy more. Because the more skills you develop, the better you will get at your job. The better you get at your job, the better you will perform. The better you will perform, the more appreciation you'll get. The more appreciation you get, that is what you're looking for. And all the happiness and everything will come from you contributing to the world. So very, very important that you understand that this particular thing, and why we don't support this, because we want to be a pure meditation school where we want to not only handle one problem, we have different problems. So maybe someday, if there is somebody who is going through sloth and torpor, I might even ask him, hey, ring a bell in his ear. So don't think that I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm dealing with somebody who is having a problem. Now you also will realize and validate why we do our Sunya walk. Okay, because many a times this is the only way to keep people awake. Okay, oh, we do our walk, then we keep them, tell them we are going for a walk. We do long walks. We do walks in the public. When you're walking, no way you can sleep. No way sloth and torpor. And when you walk together, no way you can walk slow, because somebody is going to kick you from the back. Move, bhaiya. Okay, move fast. So all that thing. So you should see all this has a reason. And if you look at it, we are basically trying to help the person who is going through these two things, the sloth and torpor, to come out of it. Okay, now that means sloth and torpor is for the body and the mind. Body, see, there is a difference. Okay, you cannot say the body wants to become still. One is to achieve stillness, the other is to stop. Okay, something that is still doesn't mean it is stopped. Okay, seeing a lion sitting like this, don't think it is stopped and it's doing nothing. Go next to it, you'll know how still he is. Okay, you understand? So don't ever underestimate stillness. Stillness means all the potential energy, all the latent energy is being locked up. Okay, just to wait for the right moment to outburst. Okay, dead means stop. Stop means dead. Okay, have you stopped? Have you fallen dead, or you are still full of energy, potential energy, latent energy locked up so that you are able to wait for the moment when you're going to strike? That is how you should be. And Shunya is basically cultivating that type of energy. That is why when we practice Shunya, after Shunya, you're super duper energetic, right? Fully charged. Where the charge comes from, who knows where it comes from? But we don't know. We know one thing. It is all channelized and focused into one particular arena of the mind. That is focus and attention. So very, very important that you understand the principles of our practice. So when you practice Shunya, you see our reverse counting, our observing the breath, our double counting, our no counting, all these are upgrading you slowly, slowly into managing this particular thing called sloth and torpor. Okay, from your sitting style, okay, we don't let you bend. We tell you sit properly, even dress properly, wear your kimono properly. Okay, then when we tell you, then no scratching, no moving, okay, nothing at all. Stillness means stillness, an effort to remain still. Okay, and not a no effort to do nothing. They are two different things. Where there is no effort to do nothing and there is effort to do nothing. What we do is we put in the effort to do nothing, making sure who is doing nothing? The mind. The mind has a habit of running away. As soon as you give him something simple, something repetitive, something very, very logical where it can be caught, he doesn't like it. It does not like it. You ask somebody to clean the room, that's the last thing he would want to do, because you know why? It's very simple. If he misses out, we can catch him. Hey, you did not even clean this, you don't know how to clean. Then he feels, doesn't feel. Give him something, can you do one thing, this big thing, puzzle, can you solve it? For puzzle, he will sit for 3 hours solving the puzzle, because that is complex. Mind likes to be engaged in complexity. It does not like to stay in simplicity. Through Shunya, what we do is we bring in the mind to experience the power of simplicity. Very, very important. Now, that also brings us to a point, how do we handle this? So remember last time also I told you rain. Okay, whenever this you deal with an obstacle, use this acronym RAIN. Recognize, hey, I recognize that I feel drowsy. If you cannot recognize, ask. Maybe somebody will tell you, you were snoring, my friend, next to me. You accept that. Okay, was I? Oh, sorry, yeah. I don't know. I might be going through a lot. So that's when he accepts. So first you recognize and then accept. Either you recognize or somebody recognizes it for you. But your most important thing is to accept. After you accept, investigate. Investigate, was this just a mental phenomena or was it a physical phenomena? Was it a physical phenomena because that is how I have been conditioned, or is it because there is a disease that is being, underlying it, causing that kind of thing, that sloth and torpor within me? See, a sick person naturally gets, tired and weak faster. Any act, even effort of doing shunya is difficult for a person who is sick. It's not possible. At that time, you ask him to do, he cannot do. He can sleep and rest, but you ask him to do shunya, not possible. So your job is to investigate why. Why do I feel drowsy? Why is it that when I do this, my head goes down? Why is it that when I do this, my spine goes down? Find out the reason, investigate. Then you will find there are certain things and then find solution. Okay, after you find solution, don't identify yourself with that. Keep yourself, that's a problem. And because it's a problem, I can solve it. Okay, because it is something that is not me. It is something that has happened to me. I can definitely correct myself. And correction is what we are doing in Shunya. So when you can correct yourself, you can definitely contribute into making sure that this particular aspect of yours, the sloth and torpor, which is the biggest problem in the world today. Okay, all the motivation speakers and all the inspiring talkers out there are doing one thing to you. They're trying to wake you up. Move, move. You people, you're still, you're not, you're dead, get up, do something. Okay, what we are doing is the same, but without saying a single word, with only practice. Because the mind and the body, they both, they are, if they get into action, no one can stop you from becoming successful. It's the mind and body, both together have to become successful. The cart and the bullock, both have to be going together. If the bull is pulling and the cart wheel doesn't want to come with it, you have a problem. The bull is, the cart is oiled and the wheel is perfect, but the bull is not ready to move. What can you do? You will be jumping in the cart both ways and nothing is going to happen to your life. Make sure the bull is also pulling the cart and the cart is also getting pulled by the bull. So the body and the mind, they both should be super excited to get up with any opportunity of either practicing Shunya, doing your duty, contributing to the world. Be super excited to do that. If you are continuously active, people can see that, oh, full energy from where? Oh, maybe solar, lunar energy also, everywhere, 24/7 energy. That is how people should see you as. That is life. Okay, lying, doing nothing is dead. Okay, don't die before you actually die. Be awake, get up and do your duty. So let me see if I have a nice thing. So what happens when you deal with people who suffer from sloth? Okay, if you practice wrongly, if you practice like this, okay, you practice like, you think you're practicing because it feels good. Okay, so I practice like this every day. I observe my breath and I feel good. I might even snore. I go there like this, and I'm like this, and I after 2 hours I become like this, and I keep on doing this for few, maybe 10 days, 15 days, and I keep on practicing like this, just observing, relaxing, observing, relaxing. What will I become? I'll become this animal called the sloth. And you know what the sloth does? Let's watch a movie scene. If we, let's see if it. So you just saw how the world, if you become a sloth, you will have to interact with the world, and the world there is super fast. World is not slow. Okay, time is moving at its own pace. Everybody is doing their job at their own pace. You will have to match their pace. You cannot be like this, doing everything slow, taking a cup of coffee like this, then slowly turning it around and then telling, okay, I'm going to drink this, okay, and I'm going to talk to you. You will run away, all of y'all. We interact as it is. When they're slow, we fall. When the mountain, we climb. The speed of climbing the mountain is definitely slow, but the effort is more. The falling down the cliff is definitely fast. The effort is less. Both are actuals, we are doing it as it is. We do the reality check. So very important that you understand this concept. If you understand this concept, you will appreciate the practice of Shunya. Shunya is to wake you up, make you active, super energetic, super active, so that you can perform your duty well. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our third part of let us go. Yeah, this was it. Yeah, so we were here. So half-hearted action with little or no effort or concentration. We will have to win over this condition of us, this obstacle. How do you do that? How are you going to do that? Practice Shunya daily. Put it as a discipline. Okay? Maybe you will feel tired. You will feel lazy. You will feel like not doing it. But do it. If you get tired, go back. Remember, in Shunya, we go front, back, front, back, front, back. We swap, right? So, I'm trying to do 9 to 0. Cannot do it. I'm feeling drowsy. Get up. Do your standing meditation. Do your hand raising. Keep the activity going. You cannot do that. Do the basic. Just swing your hands. 1 to 100. That itself is good enough. Till the time you are able to do the next step. If you cannot do that, come back again. Every step has been organized, one step or the other. If you cannot do this, go back. Do what is possible. If you cannot pass standard 3, where will you go? Second, study well, then go again 3. Still you cannot, go back to second, then go again to 3. Maybe 3 you will get well. Then go to 4. 4 if you cannot, come back to 3. Every time you remember that Shunya is about swip swapping. High, go low. If you cannot climb higher, definitely make sure that your ground is laid down on the low. You have a strong footing on that. Very, very important. So with this, you will be able to move confidently at every step. Okay. Now we have finished red belt. We have the orange belt. We have the yellow belt. Now people are practicing green belt, and things are moving at a very fast pace. In last 3 years, that means we are now getting to go deeper into the practice of dhyana. Okay. And we can say that we are one of the only schools that is giving meditation, the way we are meditating, so much importance to break it down to such a level to make it an engineering feat that everybody can actually do it. Okay. So practice, practice and practice. That is the only way to get out of this. There is no other way. Okay. So understand that when you see the mushy water, when you see this mushy water around you, you see your life becoming like this. Make sure it's time to clean up your water. Put in the efforts, start cleaning up, starts getting active. If you are gaining weight, if you think weight is coming up, things are not right, exercise. Start with walking. Even if you cannot walk, at least dress up for your walking. Do that. At least wear your shoes, then remove it after 5 minutes and then keep it again. But do what you can do. At least show the inclination towards that. Once you show the inclination, automatically things will incline towards it. And one day you will fall for what you have inclined yourself for. Okay. So Buddha gave a beautiful example about the trees. He says, the trees that are bent because the wind keeps on blowing on the seashore on one side. So the trees, coconut trees, they bend to one side. Okay. So most of the trees are bending one side because the wind keeps on blowing in that direction. So one of the monks asked Buddha, what happens, when you keep on practicing and I don't achieve the highest state and I die halfway? There isn't whatever effort I put in lost. I missed it. I missed the chance of achieving the highest state, So how unfortunate that would be. So Buddha gave a beautiful example. He says, those trees that are on this shore that are bent because of the winds, okay, on one side, what happens if the storm comes? Which side it will fall? The side that they have already bent. So don't worry, he said. Even if you have taken your first step, even if something bad happens, even worst happens, you will always fall on the side that you have already bent. Okay, you cannot fall in any other side. So are we inclined towards certain thing is the most important key. Are we inclined towards peace and prosperity? Do we really want it? That is the choice. That is why from the Eightfold Path, the first thing is what? Your view. What view you're holding on to? Where is your inclination? What do you see you want to perform from yourself? That is good enough for you to begin your journey. Okay, so always remember, Shunya, even getting to listen to a talk like this is your inclination that you're creating to make sure that your journey begins. Okay, so this brings us to the end of our talk, and I think that was pretty easy. Okay, sloth and torpor we have understood. Torpor basically is like hibernation. Okay, it's sleep but a mental activity which is stopped. Okay, so understand, we should not, even when you are doing activity, you cannot hibernate. You cannot go doing nothing. So when you're doing, make sure that you don't sleep, be awake, practice your all the steps that we say till the time you are able to perform them well. If you cannot, come down, do it the reverse, whatever is possible. Okay. Okay, considering that it was a easy lesson, you all know what it is, that is why it becomes easy. Okay, and we'll see you next week with another set of learning. And I think so next week we will be doing, what is that? Restlessness and worry. I think that is the major thing. People ignore that. They go and see a psychiatrist for that. And is it possible that through Shunya we can cover that particular aspect of somebody's state of mind? We'll see that next week. Until then, thank you so much. Bye-bye.